All right, so obviously I'm going through something. Chelsea started getting back into reading a Bible and wanting to go to church. Totally fine with it. Do what makes you happy. And then like our neighbor started inviting us to church. And then Chelsea ended up going to church, and she goes every Sunday. You know, because I'm like a cynical guy, or whatever the word you want to use. I was like, no, like the whole like trying to peer pressure someone into going to church just doesn't fit right with me. Like if I want to go to church and I'm compelled to go to church, I'll go to church, right? And then my mom started talking about going to church, or like reading a Bible and going to church. So I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like everybody around me is talking about going to church and like reading the Bible and getting all this. And then customers, you know, as I'm going around, customers started talking to me about church and stuff. And I was like, why is everybody around me bringing up church and God and all this stuff? And then a lady that I've done for years, the lady that gave me the book, I've done for years. And I went to go do, I think it's her father's house or something. I went to do her father's house. And I've gone there many times, okay? And I've never noticed this, but when I was there this last time, I noticed in every room there was a Bible verse written on the walls in the room. And so I asked her about it. I was like, were those there the last time like I was here? Was all that there? And she was like, no. And then I explained to her how like people in my life are like turning to the Bible and everybody's getting back in touch with that. And she brought up, she was like, well, it sounds like, you know, Jesus is following you and is trying to show you these signs that you've been asking for. And me, I'm like, of course, what are the odds of that? You know, like like even still, it doesn't make sense in my head. But then, of course, she was like, I'm gonna get you, she said, I'm gonna get you something, promise me you'll at least read it. And I was like, all right, I'll read it. Because I'm open about talking about the Bible. I don't have a problem reading the Bible and like dissecting things and all that. So she gives me the book, and then I read the book, and that's when now you're caught up. Now today's devotional was like, just open up and let him in. And my mind really struggles to comprehend that, and like it struggles to find the connection. Like, how is that possible that after all this I get the book today? She canceled, she like wanted to reschedule her service and then happened to say, hey, go ahead and come anyways. So like it went from, it was scheduled, I was gonna see her, she was gonna give me the book, to she canceled because it was raining, but then brought it back and said, hey, just come on over. So I go there, she gives me the book, and then just as like a haha, I was like, let me read the first devotional, today's date, July 27th. I read it, and that was like crazy speaking to me on a level that I can't, like the coincidences are starting to align where there's too many of them. And it was, you saw, the devotional was like, I'll open the gates for you, all you gotta do is let me in. And that blows my mind, man. I literally, my mind cannot comprehend like trying to find a connection of like, how did I end up here? How is it that, like, I know you can like nitpick and like find a connection and find the connection as like why you think like this isn't a coincidence or this is a coincidence, but like my mind is like confused of like how many coincidences are too many coincidences for it to be like an opportunity to just jump in on this. I definitely have a lot of reflecting to do, and I got a lot to think about now, because I've always been this like cynical guy. I don't exactly know what to think about the whole thing, and it's messing with my mind. But see, then I know people are just gonna say go to church and like, but the fact that I'm figuring all this out on my own is kind of nice. I just like the idea of figuring things out for yourself. Like, I would much rather and be more comfortable with people going through like what I'm going through and like searching for answers inside of you, and like opening up yourself to every option and every reasonable thing. And I would much rather people go through that than just like, and I'm not trying to be mean, like spoon-fed your answers and spoon-fed like what to believe and like how to believe it. I find every instance of like, oh, that's just irony, that's just a coincidence, what are the odds of that? But too many things are starting to line up where, I don't know, I'm having like a personal, like deep down struggle of like what to believe, and it's blowing my mind a little bit. This whole time it's been like, everybody always says like, you just gotta let Jesus into your heart, right? You gotta let Jesus into your heart and like accept him and blah 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 blah, right? So I'm like, well, there's no, everything starts compiling up and there's no like reason for me to believe in any of that. Like there's nothing that has happened in my life that would be like, so, but then you could tie it back, like, did everything fall apart in my life for me to meet Chelsea and then like go that whole path? Was that, I don't understand it. Then you have all this stuff and I'm like, dude, everybody's just like, open your heart to it, all right? And I'm like, okay, I'll open my heart to it. I start reading about things and I'm like, I'm not thinking. And then the lady gives me the book, right? She gives me the book. And today's devotion is like, yo, man, I will open up the gate for you. You just gotta let me in. What are the odds of that? I don't understand it, man. I get the book. The first devotion that I read, today's devotion is like God is asking you to let him in. And that's exactly, like, that's what I don't understand it, man. It's messing with my mind, dude. July 27th, I read today's devotion. Because I was like, I'm not going to start from day one. I'm not going to start from January 1st. That's crazy. Who starts at January 1st? So I started on July 27th. Like a normal person. It says, dude, just let me in. I don't get it. Hopefully there'll be an update video on this. And if you have anything to say, any guiding words, just leave it down below. I'll read it all and we'll get through this journey.